That's more like it. That should come up in a minute. Yep, and here we are. So, just play the intro. So, hello, welcome everybody to the next edition of Synthnatter. Today I have with me one of the most interesting multi-instrumentalists I've seen in ages. He's a guitarist, he's a bass player, he's a keyboard player, but what makes Mr. Godcloud so interesting is his finger drumming is unbelievable. It's really quite stunning. So it's my privilege to introduce to you Mr. Godcloud.
How's it going, Stuart? Thanks for having me, man.
Cool. That's cool, man. That's cool. So, we're talking MPCs. Is this still your favourite tool for finger drumming?
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm not using the traditional MPC. I use the controllers, the MPDs, but I'm an Akai loyalist. And like we were talking about before, my father used Akai since the 80s. So I'm a second generation, Akai user. And I'm a big fan of Reason from Reason Studio. So the MPD is it's a good interface. You know what I mean? For me to control with. So I'm a MPC, MPD, Akai, fan head to the death.
Yeah, it's cool stuff. Cool stuff. So, do you start with your dad's MPC and then move forwards? Because there's quite a history there, isn't there? Do you start with your dad and then you move forward and you moved into Reason? And
yeah, I did. I'll tell you what, it's kind of a funny story because I would use my dad's drum machine and he would keep all his discs and all his sounds, for him or whatever. So I had this old Casio keyboard that I sampled all these drum sounds off of and all these other tones. and I had this little karaoke machine that I would run the headphone out into the karaoke machine, and that's how I would record my songs. Layer by layer, tape by tape, and I'd be like, yo, God, I tell all my friends, I made a new song, I got a new tape, and and that's how I was doing it until I went to college, and I saw everybody using computers, and you can imagine, my mind was blown because I'm coming from a sampler and a tape machine and all that stuff. So once I got on, one of my friends introduced me to Logic and Reason, and the hunt was on, it just, I was trying to make sure that, trying to figure out a way to bridge the gap from the sampler to the laptop. And that's how I got to where I am now.
Yeah. So what projects are you working on at the moment? What's happening in your studio at the moment?
Right now I got a lot of things going on. I'm on, I'll start with my personal mission, my personal quest. Well, I told myself that I was going to try and make 100, well recorded and polished finger drum videos. So sometimes if you go on my YouTube channel, you'll hear some videos where I'm not, where you can hear me hitting the pads that the audio isn't direct. Those ones don't count. So the ones where where it sounds like I've taken a little more time, I'm
Yeah.
doing that, and right now I just did the my 71st video last night. So
Wow.
yeah, that's my my personal quest. You know, I'm working on some other projects with this French composer. His name's Lazy Pixel, and he's really good, and everybody should check him out. He's
Lazy
top notch.
Pixel.
Yeah, Lazy
Cool.
Pixel.
Cool.
Yeah, he
Check out
does.
Lazy Pixel, folks.
Yeah. He does like cinematic, like movie soundscapes and everything, and
Wow.
yeah, and we're experimenting really hard, and we're combining. You know, like I rap and do vocals also,
Yeah.
so we're combining the rap with my guitar playing and the finger
Yeah.
drumming and his cinematic scapes and everything, and I think we got like a really unique, cool sound. So
Yeah.
yeah, that track might be out next week. I've got some I got a secret little project in the works with this big time fashion designer. I don't want to say his name yet until everything gets like official, but yeah, we're working on something a little more nine inch nailsy, like industrial.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
right up my street. I've got to see this.
Yeah. It's he posted just on Twitter, you know, that he was looking for producers, and I was like, hey, you know, like me,
Yeah,
you
cool.
know, and I sent him a demo, and he said he loved it, so we're gonna go with that. But I don't want to, you know, I don't want to say his name because he's relatively, you know,
Yeah,
famous for
yeah.
lack of better words, so I want to keep that private for him. And what else am I doing? I got a lot, you know, a few other things in the works, like my own EP. I'm in the process of getting mixed and mastered at a studio in Rochester, New York, called Wicked Squid, and we're it's a 5-track EP, and we've got 2 tracks mixed already. So we just got to, you know, it's Christmas. I just had my first child too. Well, she's 9 months old now, but
Oh,
yeah. But we want to make sure that this Christmas is great for her. So you know,
yeah, sure.
I'm taking everything's going towards her Christmas right now. So the studio is, you know, kind of on the back burner until after the holiday. But
Of course, yeah.
yeah. And also just released was Ear Goggle Fodder by this band Combinator from Seattle that I was lucky to work with. And the mastermind behind it, he's Emmy-winning bassist and composer Sean Fairchild. Guy's amazing. He's an amazing bass player. And luckily, I got to put some finger drumming and some guitar on that album, and that's out on all the digital streaming platforms right now.
I did check that out. That was really cool.
Yeah.
I was really struck by that because it doesn't go where I expect it to go musically. It's very, very interesting.
Yeah.
It'd be good. Are you going to do some more work with him when you can? Or is that kind of a one-off?
No, we're still friends. You know, like I don't know if you know Square Pusher.
I do.
Yeah, he's one of my biggest influences, and also is one of Sean's as well. And you know, we kind of met over like the Square Pusher campfire, like you know, being like, yo, like you like Square Pusher? Oh my God, I like Square Pusher. So you know,
Square Pusher is somebody that I have a big wish one day to get on Synthnatter because there's so many things I want to ask you.
Oh hell yeah,
there's
right?
So many things, man. I'm gonna have a list like this.
Yeah,
how he does this stuff. Amazing guy.
Yeah, I've been a big fan of his since forever. But you know, like we're promoting this record that we just did. You know, so it's that we're definitely gonna do more stuff in the future and everything. Because you know, it's funny. He didn't even know that I played bass.
Really?
Yeah. Because he just thought that I, you know, and it's understandable, but you know, because all you really see now is like my finger drumming stuff. So you know, but one day I was you know doing some bass playing stuff online. He was like, "Holy shit!" He's like, "Yo, you play bass too?" I'm like, "Yeah, man." So you know. Like sky's the limit, you know what I mean? So like I'm definitely down to do more work with them, and it's gonna happen in the future.
Yeah,
so
that's cool. I'm gonna show now a track called No Jail, which is off your YouTube channel, because I really want to see people. just what it is you do, because it's amazing. So, guys, here's No Doubt.
That's great.
Oh, dear. They know.
Yeah. He hears his other voice. He's like, who is that? What's going on? Yeah. Yeah, she's 9 months. She was born in March. Yeah.
That's cool. And no problems with, hopefully you didn't get affected by COVID when she was being born, because that's kind of when it hit over here.
Yeah, no, it was, and you know what, honestly, man, like me and my wife, we stay in the house, and you know, like all I do is my music stuff. Like that's it. Like I don't hang out or do anything. You know what I mean? Or like go to the club or do nothing like that. So nor do I watch TV. So we're just going about our lives. You know, about to have this baby, and we get to the hospital, and it's like D-Day, man. Like it was so many sick people, and. And where we live, it's considered a red zone because the cases are really bad. I think we get like over 400 new cases a day.
Jeez.
in Rochester. Yeah, it's really bad. But yeah, like I remember I was, you know, I got lost in the hospital, and I ended up in like the urgent care part, and it was so bad. I was like, what's going on? And I find out there's COVID. I'm like, holy shit! Like, yo.
Yeah. It's quite so. Presume lockdown for most musicians over here. This gave us a real chance to get in our studios and just muck about and just use that time creatively to see what we can do without any real pressure on.
Yeah, definitely.
How did you find that during lockdown? Were you stressed due to outside influences, or were you able to channel in your creativity?
Yeah, you know what, and I think that with because I'm you know, like I'm an introvert, like, and I used to play in bands and like metal bands and rock bands and all that stuff and play live and all that, but I'd always hate like after the show when you're just like kind of hanging out and you know everybody's drinking and it's just I just, you know, like I just don't like that. You know what I mean? It's just like the whole. What's that?
I know exactly what you mean because I've done similar myself. There comes a point when you sort of say, "That's it." Guitar goes in case, amp goes in the back of the boot. They all want to go on to some massive party somewhere. Particularly singers. Your singers can be like, let them get on with it. I'll load my car up and quietly go home.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, man. So, I think a lot what happened was I was already in the house, you know, constantly doing this. You know what I mean? And I think it brought a lot of other people who would normally be like out at the shows, like doing this, doing that. It brought them in also, and I think that got me, you know, more attention, and you know, it is. Honestly, like since the whole thing's happened, like I've been getting way more, you know, building way more connections, doing way more collaborations with people than I would have normally done before. And, you know, like I don't know if that's, you know, because maybe people are just, you know, looking at their phones more because they're, you know, stuck inside or whatever, or if my marketing is working or whatever, or, you know, but like I know that, you know, and not to sound like, you know, like callous or ignorant or anything, but you know, the whole lockdown thing, it worked for it's you know, it's working for me. Like I'm, you know, thriving in it, you know. You know, like, you know, like condolences to people who are suffering, obviously, but you know, like as far as, us musicians and us artists, I think we're really, where we're taking this chance to really like look into ourselves. You know what I mean? Just like you said, we can like muck about in the studio with no pressure. So and it's making other people do it also. You know what I mean? So I just think it's really bringing the musician community together more. Like as despairing as all this this deadly virus is. There's the silver lining is that everybody, as crazy as it is, it's like we're like all in lockdown together, and we can communicate with these devices and just make the best of it that way.
I think I think it should bring out, and we'll probably see over the next year or so, some really interesting collaborations and some really interesting new music, because it's given people a break. Those that are creative, whether they be musicians, whether they be painters, whatever. And I do understand there's financial issues and people have got financial problems because they can't gig in that. I well appreciate that, but I think the silver lining can be people have had time to think and develop and maybe learn more skills and then see what we've got at the end of it. Practice must be a thing with your finger drumming. You can't just surely can't go into that cold. You've got to work that and practice it and work on it.
Oh yeah, 1,000%, man. Yeah, like it's like I've always been a student of practice, as any musician should be, And musicians, anybody out there who's not practicing, practice. Get there. Like you need the click. Like I, constantly there. And my wife will tell you there's always that going on. Always that click. And especially for for playing guitar, playing bass, and everything. Like you gotta. And I'll tell you, when I was growing up, it didn't like, or no pun intended, but it didn't click with me that music was kind of like ran off of a grid. You know what I mean? Like, but once I sat down with, with the samplers and everything, and for me to remember because like with the old MPs, you didn't really have much visual to go by, you know what I mean? Like you had to remember, like, okay, like 16 clicks in here, this turns on and so on. So, but once I figured that out, I'm like, man, like, so if I play to this click constantly, my timing's gonna get solid, I'm gonna get better, you know what I mean? So with the finger drumming, man, and it's almost like an obsession with my fingers, you know what I mean? Because like, right now I got the click at like 200 BPM, and I practice running paradiddles, you know know what I mean?
200 BPM, that's hard work.
yeah, man. And it's like, like I feel it in like my forearms and everything, but that's what it, that's what it takes, man. That's what I want. I just want to be able, I want to be able to be, a one-man band. And my thing is with the drums is I want to be able to make it, because I'm a real big fan of like heavy metal, and, like I love like a wicked, drummer, you know what I mean? Like I love the band, I love the headbang, like I love the mosh pits, I love all that crazy. So, like I want my my drumming to imitate that as much as possible, and like unfortunately I haven't been able to keep a drum kit because, like I've had to move, and, I was kind of living that vagabond lifestyle for a long time, and it's hard to carry a drum kit with you when you're bouncing from place to place. So, I made sure to teach myself, hey, like, how can I get that double kick sound? How can I get that, that, so, and it's practice, man. Just, taking it slow with paradiddles at first, you know what I mean? But I try to make sure, like, I try to think like an athlete. I don't know if I used to be a pro wrestler also. But
Maybe that's a talent I didn't know you had.
yeah, yeah. yeah, yeah. I used to be a pro wrestler, and I used to, I used to train really hard during that,
Yeah.
and even with this, if I like to feel my muscles burning,
Yeah.
because that's when you're hitting the exercises and the training right,
Yeah.
So like with the finger drumming, like when I'm doing, whacking away at the paradiddles or whatever, when I start feeling that burn in my forearms,
Yeah.
I know that I'm building the muscle memory and that it's paying off.
It's
So
paying off.
yeah, so that's
I think music is definitely a physical thing. I think even if you try and construct it intellectually, you've kind of got to be able to feel it at the other end. When it comes out the other end. And I think if you can't feel it, there's something wrong there. That you have to be able to feel it inside you. And I think if you can't feel it inside you, you can't expect other people to feel it either. That it's something that has to come from you.
Yeah, absolutely.
How my other half, she can't get into finger drumming at all, but she likes using drum pads with drumsticks and electronic drums with drumsticks. Have you ever been tempted by those? Does that approach appeal to you?
Oh my God!
Have you tried it?
Yeah. I mean, like I recently just did get a drum kit. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to get my sticking to where my fingers are, but it's funny because everybody hears my finger drumming and they think like, oh, so you're a drummer. I'm like, nah, dude. Like I play bass and guitar, and then I get on the drum kit and I'm like, dude, God, it's terrible. And everybody's like, what the hell? And I'm like, yo. But like I'm trying to get my sticking down, and I've one thing I've always wanted was like a set of the V drums. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the drum pads are awesome. You know what I mean? Like I really need to work on my sticking, but yeah, like I've definitely been tempted by that. Like if I could, man, trust me, I'd have a whole, setup, of all that kind of stuff. But
imagine, plug it all into Reason and away you go.
Yeah, man, yeah.
How are you liking Reason? Is this now your main tool, or are you using other stuff as well?
Yeah, basically, I've been using Reason since Reason 3 came out.
Yeah.
A buddy got me into that, and it's just been my main thing since. And I think excuse me, I had this cheap little PC that I was running a free version of Cubase and Reason on, because back in the day you couldn't record audio on the Reason. Right. So me and my cousin, we were gonna be the next big rap group or whatever, with me making the beats and him rapping, and like we set up the bathroom with all the comforters, like a little vocal booth and all that stuff, and I was recording on Cubase, but every time like it would like my PC just wasn't fast enough, so it would always crap out on me, and I went through a ton of computers, but I always what's that?
Me too. I've been through a ton of computers as well.
Yeah, man. But like when I finally got an Apple, it was able to handle everything just fine. And Reason had record, I think, at the time, so you could record the audio. Yeah. And I was when I got the Apple, I was using Logic with I was rewiring Reason into Logic, because that was a thing. But I think with 11 they just stopped doing that. But yeah, man, for this I think maybe wow yeah, so maybe about 13, 14 years, Reason's been my common DAW. I've always used it, and it's been a while. Wow, thinking about it, it's been a long time I've been using it. So
yeah, and there's lots and lots of synths you can get for it now, aren't there? There's lots and lots of plugins and lots of synths for that platform now. Will it take VST2 now? I believe it does, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's I can't remember when I think maybe on Reason 9.5 or Reason 10. I'm not sure, but yeah, they take third party plugins and VSTs and stuff now. So yeah, like, but even with the the stock stuff in Reason you could spend all day on, like the modular aspect of it is out of control. Like there's just so much you can do, and you can even pull it up in Logic now as a plugin, or you can even pull it up in Ableton now as a plugin. And it's
really come on.
Yeah, it's come a long way, because I used to, I would never record audio in Reason, even when they did develop that feature. I would always record, I'd make my beats in Reason, and, I'd bounce it in the Logic, and then I'd, sing or rap or whatever over it in Logic. But now I really think that they've caught up, and whatever the audio engine is doing is great,
But I've got a story to share that when I started out, I also started with a cheap PC back in the year 2000, and I blew it up. And I blew it up quite spectacularly because I maxed the memory out. And you could only get something like 500 megabytes of memory in it in those days. And it had this little 10 gigabyte hard drive in it. And I overheated it. And I was running Cubase on it, and I was trying to run soft synths as well. And the poor old thing would grind away. It couldn't play it back properly without spluttering and crashing. So I used to render one track at a time as to audio, and then play it back and mix it. And one day it went too far, and the hard drive actually caught fire, and it put it put black stuff all up the back of the wall where this cheap mini tower.
Oh my goodness!
And I looked at it and I thought, and I got it out, and I did repair it first off, and I thought I'll put a new hard drive in, and it was fine, and that worked for another few years, and eventually it just burnt out. It couldn't take any more of my abuse.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's crazy.
It actually produced black smoke out of the back. So I've got a long history of blowing up PCs. There's another one I had that was quite a nice laptop, and I knocked a pint of beer over it in the studio, and that blew that one up.
Oh, no. Oh, man.
Because it was hot, and I was working on a project. No, I hadn't backed it up.
Oh, my God.
Buy a new laptop and start again.
That's the worst, man. Oh my goodness, I couldn't imagine. Like, I think the worst one time when I was right when I was starting to wrestle, I got a treadmill so I could run, and I had it set up in my studio and stuff. So you can imagine, I've got my studio, and then I've got this treadmill over here. So I would play back, I'd be like, all right, I'm going to listen to this track that I just did, and then I'm going to run, So I'm doing that, finish running, go to stop the track, a bead of sweat drips from my chin into the laptop and shorts out the trackpad. I'm like, what am I doing? What's a 1 in a million chance of that? I'm like, I bet nobody's ever had that happen. And I felt, I'm like, no, and I'm watching this sweat drip, and it hits the track, and I'm like, no, come on. Oh my God, man. Yeah, so these computers, man, they need to make them waterproof. I don't know why they don't.
They need to make them musician proof, so they can sort of take the abuse of being thrown in a bag and chucked out on stage and powered up and then put away and put back around. They just don't make them tough enough for it.
I know, man. Come on, they need to. We're not all using them for office work, so.
Exactly. Exactly. Gonna play a new track now. This is a great one called I Lost, and the work in this is like, whoa.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
The electrician's here, so the lights on.
Oh, great.
You're gonna need a light on you or something.
I'm just gonna turn my stuff on. Oh, that electrician showed up that I was talking about. Let me get my stuff. But we should be all right though, since everything's on the phone.
Oh, that's cool.
I just got to turn my gear off real quick so there are no shorts or anything.
Oh, no, we don't want that.
No laptops blowing up.
No, we've both got too much fun for that.
Yeah. All right, shut down.
Yeah, I was hoping that one time.
Yeah, we were just talking about laptops blowing up and stuff. So.
Yeah. Well, like, in the minute I saw him, I was like, hurry up, Bagel. Let's go.
Not today. Great. All right.
Cool. It's cool.
Safe.
I was going to say, well, your tracks also, I noticed you're actually using 2 MPC controllers, one in each hand.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, some of them I do, like I figured out that, like obviously when you set the controller up to control the piano, you know what I mean? Like all the scales apply, you know what I mean? And I looked it up and there's like a thing online that shows you all the scales, all the modes, like Lydian, Dorian, Mixolydian, it shows you, the shapes on them. So that's another thing that I practice too, is I'll, with my right hand, I'll just play a regular beat, just, basic, backbeat, whatever. And then I'll just run the scales with my left hand and, that, and I do some, I'll do some synth work or whatever in Reason, do some passion. And then I can, make a cool little sound and stuff. So when I work in the scales, it sounds, pretty cool. So, yeah, that's how I do the double stuff.
I could kind of imagine you doing stabs as well with your left hand. You could get a chord on some pads and come down and just do some really nice sort of brass stabs and that sort of thing. Really nice attacky stuff where you've got all this other stuff going on in your right hand.
Yeah.
Bloody hell. It's quite a technique. I've got a Launchpad Pro which I use with Ableton, and I can do finger drumming and I can play notes on it and all sorts of things. Having been used to a conventional keyboard, playing notes on an APC or on any sort of grid, it's a really interesting experience because you can set the scales to go one way and you can set chords to go another way. So you can get some really interesting positions and some really interesting extensions that on a conventional keyboard you battle to find the stretch. So it's really interesting how this stuff's evolving and all sorts of things, all sorts of possibilities it's opening up. But my next question would be, have you tried Logic? Not Logic, sorry, Ableton.
Yeah, I have it. I just don't. I'm just not as like adept on it as I am with Reason. Like I know I could probably watch a tutorial or two and get up to speed or whatever, but like I don't know. I feel like I'm cheating on Reason anytime I use anything else. But I've been really thinking about it because I've been in some finger drumming competitions, and I can tell that the other cats are using Ableton. You know what I mean? And I feel like it gives them a bit of an edge when it comes to like switching through samples and sounds, because the particular thing that I use in Reason. Hold on. Let me back up a bit. So when I program hold on 1 second. Okay. So
there it is.
Yeah, when I program a routine or whatever, I'll have it kick drum, snare drum, another snare drum, then like a rim shot, like side stick.
Yeah.
Then I put a hi-hat here, open hat here, then another close hi-hat there.
Yeah.
Tom, crash. Then up top are my one shots, okay?
Yeah.
And this button here, I always use it as a mute. So yeah. So let's say, oh yeah, and then also when I with the way that I have these programmed up top with the one shots, anytime I hit one, if I hit the next one, it'll cut that one off.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And with some exceptions, but generally, if this is like my kill switch, my like fail safe, if stuff starts getting a little offbeat or out of control, it's boop, there we go. Back to to sanity. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, but with this particular module that I use in Reason, it's called the Kong. It's kind of like the MPC controller or whatever. It's the only device, as far as I know, that has a straight up mute function where I can program a button to be just a mute. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, but the downside to that is that I can't switch through the banks. So I can't, you know what I mean? So
yeah, you're stuck with that one set then.
Right. That's why I try to mix it up by having, the different sounds up here or whatever, because I can, just even by me, like say I hit something and let that go for 8 bars. Yeah. I can also keep tapping it too and make that sound different. You know what I mean? So even with the limited set of things, there's still a bunch of stuff I could do, So, and maybe I need to dig in Reason a little more, because I know there's a few other samplers in there that you can switch the banks with, but they just don't have the MPC feel like the Kong does.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
But I think with Ableton, I might be able to remedy that somehow if I dig into Ableton enough. You know what I mean? Because as far as I know, Ableton's like clip based. You know what I mean? And so I definitely have been tempted to check it out, but just with the way work comes in and I haven't had the chance to learn a new DAW. But definitely want to.
I think there's aspects of it you'll find very interesting, because you can switch between having a drum pad set up like you've just had on your MPC.
Yeah.
You can switch between that and having a clip grid. So you can actually, on the one button, switch between the two. So you can do your finger drumming, record that in, get that loop in, then switch to clips and start launching clips. Then switch back to your finger drumming pad and do some more stuff.
Okay.
I've seen guys do really, really cool stuff with this, and I've tried it at times and made a right old mess of it. But with your skills, that's something you could probably really bring out, and you might find that quite an interesting thing to at least have a go at some point.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
man.
Good stuff out there. You also make clips, and you make some really nice loops, and you sell them online. What sort of loops do you make?
Well, I've got a ton of. There's so many. I've got a lot of weird. Maybe not a lot of weird instruments, but I have 2 really unique instruments. And the last pack that I did that I have out for sale.
Yeah.
And it's included in the for limited time. It's included in the $10 pack. But I've got this thing called an auto harp.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, and this was my grandma's auto harp. It's from 1964. It's an Oscar Schmidt. Yeah. And she never took it out of the case, so it's brand new. It's a brand new 1964 auto harp. It's super clean. Yeah, man, wild. And it sounds great, and it's really good for you can use it in hip hop and anything really, you know. But
Yeah.
I've got I made a pack with it has 15 levers on it, so it makes 15 chords.
Yeah.
And and basically you push the chord down or push the lever down,
Yeah.
and it mutes the strings and hence auto harp.
Yeah.
So I went ahead and pre-recorded each chord. So within the pack, you get 15 wave files, a nice clean recording of each chord, and then I made 5 other my own like custom loops out of them and stuff. Which I think I have a video up on YouTube. I think it's called like Grandma's Auto Harp or something like that. But
I didn't see that one. I have to check out Godcloud's YouTube channel. Check out Grandma's Auto Harp.
Yeah, there's so many videos, man. Like I have a like I don't even remember like how a lot of them sound, but I remember that one. But yeah, I'm with the Grandma's Auto Harp video. I'm using a loop that I constructed out of some of the wave files and stuff. So and it's a really unique sound. As far as I know, there's not an auto harp pack out that's available. You know what I mean? So that's what I got. And I have this other thing. Hold on, let me get off camera for just a second.
Sure.
I gotta grab this thing. Now this was made by the same guy, Stephen Wisniewski, who made one of my 8 strings. This thing's called a Quinn.
Oh.
Yeah, it's almost kind of like a lap steel. And this is the first prototype.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And yeah, he was starting to make these, but I think something happened with the patent. Like somebody already was trying to make them or something, and he just like kind of stopped. But he sent me the very first one. So like this thing's got some real like.
Whoa.
Like you can get a lot of like the semitones and stuff. Like you can get like almost like Asian, like Middle Eastern, like Indian tones and stuff with it. So I got some of that in the sample pack, along with just some some basic guitar stuff that I do, and some bass, guitar, some drums. Just hold on, I'm about to knock everything over here. But
it's on my studio.
Yeah. But and like I'm always creating, so the pack it's loaded with so much stuff. Like there's no way you're not gonna be inspired by something within and I'm offering a solid deal. So for 500 for $25, you get 500 wave files, and that includes auto harp stuff. It includes the stuff with the Quinn guitar. Just synth patches that I've dialed in myself, like stuff that you're not gonna find anywhere else. And it's and a common problem with loop packs is I feel like people just get a bunch of royalty-free loop packs and then repackage those and then sell them as their own. Yeah. So like dealing with me, it's all the stuff that I have is unrecycled. It's never before been heard or been used. So you're getting fresh stuff and good sounds, modern sounds, even some old school sample or old school type stuff. So like I think I got a solid loop pack out for sale and everything. And anybody who's gotten like and if you hit me up, just ask me. I'll send. I'm giving out free sample packs.
There you go, folks. Check out Godcloud's loop packs and give them a go. You can't go wrong. For $25, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, it's solid, man. 500 waves. I mean, come on. Like that's that costs like almost $100 from some people. So
or more.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. Cool. So also you've done some stuff for Reason as well, haven't you? You've got a Reason pack.
Yeah. Well, I don't have a Reason pack yet, but I've they've used some of my videos to help push their when they came out with the string modeling VSD rack extension friction. they released a sample pack, and like I said, like I'm a Reason fanatic, so anything they're doing, I'm like all about it. And I snatched it up, made a quick beat with it, and they liked it. They put it on their Twitter and on their IG page and everything. And they use it basically, to help push that pack, which is awesome. So, you check out Reason's Twitter, check out their Instagram. I'm there too. Yeah. So, like doing some demos and all that stuff. So.
Yep. Well, I've got here the video you did for the Reason pack here, which I think this also shows how many instruments you can play.
Yeah.
This is quite a vid.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, it was fun. I really and that bass that I have, that's my first ever bass guitar that I got when I was like 10 years old.
You still got it?
Yeah. It's been through some modifications, but it was all right. Like I think with the fingers running, like my fingers are like, they're, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm somewhat, dexterous, you know what I mean? So it's like I can get at it, you know what I mean? And I did, and from teaching myself how to play 2 drum machines at once.
Yeah.
Once I can move it to the keys, and it's kind of, it just works, Yeah. So all I have to do is like, I might, look ahead and try to get how the scales work.
Yeah.
But once I see the pattern, I can, just do it. You know what I mean? As much as, I feel like if I practice the keys, like specifically, I could be like a lot better than I am, but usually what I'll do is I'll look at a scale, and I'll be like, okay, it's white key, black key, white key, black key, black key. And I'm like, all right, so that repeats.
Yeah.
And then I can just kind of do my thing on it, you know what I mean? But after I do it, it's gone. And then, the next whatever project I'm working on, I'm like, okay, so it's white key, black key, white key, black key, black key. Like, all right, cool, got it. So
it's sometimes keys like this is quite interesting. You can see how it's been really worked out on a keyboard, because the way a keyboard's laid out, you can see exactly how it runs. Can also with a guitar as well, and also with a guitar you can transpose it so easy. You load a finger in shape and then just move it up and down the fretboard,
right?
Which is really, really useful. It's one of the reasons I think the guitar is such a popular instrument. It's so flexible in many different ways. Now I've got a longer piece of yours here, which is a piece called Sober Soda. This is also very interesting.
What am I doing in that one? What's that Okay. I don't remember exactly what that one sounds like. Okay. I think I kind of remember. But like I said, I put up so many videos that I don't know what they all sound like. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right. That's and like I said, like my goal is to just like my own personal goal is to get up to get up to 100, And obviously I've done more than 100 finger drumming videos, but just the ones that you're watching are the ones that I count. You know what I mean? where they like directly the audio recorded directly in. Not even really, but I do like an overdub. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, that's just my own personal goal, and I feel like just in doing 100 of those, it's just gonna bring me up to another level of it. And hey, it's on to the next 100. But it's not like we stop. So. Sampling, I feel like people sample because they can't, play instruments and whatnot, but at the same time, just the sound of the chopped sample is a sound within itself that people like, you know what I mean? So what I do, what I've seen a lot of people starting to do now too, especially as multi-instrumentalists, it's like I'll go ahead and I'll record like a Motown-esque type, little groove or whatever, you know what I mean? Like I might rip off, My Girl, something like that, for example, you know what I mean? Just do something like it, and then I'll take that file that I recorded, which is all me, chop that up, put that on the pads, and now I can get that chop sample feel to it, you know what I mean, without plagiarizing basically, because that's my whole thing. Like I'm not one to do paperwork. I just wanna put, Philip Coleman is the writer, the artist, on all the stuff, send it out, whatever. Don't got to worry about, these people coming after me for clearance, this and that. So, you know what I mean? And I've got a ton of instruments. I've got an old 1950s K value leader guitar.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, hard to come by now.
Yeah. And, and that, you can imagine the tones I can get out of that. Yeah. So, like, if I want to make an old school sample too, it's just a matter of pulling out the old stuff and just, recording it. And that's why people sample records. You know what I mean? Because they want that flavor, and I just happen to have the tools to recreate it. So, again, like all that kind of stuff's in the sample packs, and definitely a big fan of sampling my own stuff, and like I think it's a real creative way to get that chopped sound and that sample flavor, and but to keep it original as well.
Yeah, it also gives you a different dynamic because as you say, it's a chopped sound. You can do things that you actually can't necessarily get on the original instrument. So I'd say it's a way of taking that in a different direction, because you can always put the live instrument on top of the sampled chopped sound, and the two can be really interesting.
Yeah.
Because they're so different in terms of attack. There's all sorts of possibilities there. I must say, being a guitarist myself, have you been tempted to put a MIDI hex pickup on any of your guitars and go MIDI?
Oh yeah, man, definitely, dude. I think about that every day. Yeah, man.
I'm glad to know I'm not the only one that's thinking of doing this. I just don't want to do it to my Les Paul. I'm trying to find a
Yeah.
guitar that's either got one already fitted or one that I can sort of happily have somebody fit one.
Right. Yeah, man. I've got, I've got some older guitars that are kind of like beat up. Like my first actual guitar. It's
Yeah.
a Fernandez Retro Rocket X, and it's been through, it's been through the ringer. You know what I mean? And like, I might sacrifice that one if I would do that. But I've been looking at those MIDI guitars too. Like, I don't know if you've seen the jammy stuff
Yeah.
like that. Like something easy, but I've heard that they're kind of like the interface of it is kind of a pain to set up,
Yeah.
but like I think about that all the time, like trying to set up, like a MIDI situation, and and even going back to what I was talking about earlier with that industrial track, in one of the verses I wanted to have like a synth bass doing, some bubbly stuff,
Yeah.
but I just couldn't get my fingers to do it. So I just grabbed my real bass, made it sound digital, and I'm like, all right, there we go,
There you go, job done.
Yeah, and like I can do this, but I'm like, shit, man. Excuse me, I'm sorry, but like if I had a MIDI guitar, I could really, just hammer it out. You know what I mean? Because I'm better at string instruments than I am at keys.
Yeah.
So, and I think it like as much as I do enjoy programming and doing that kind of stuff, like I'm more of a live performer first off, so it's easier for me to and that's why I finger drum rather than program my drums, because it's just easier for me to be like, okay, brain, hands, blah. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I've kind of gone that way because I used to program everything around drums, but it's kind of you kind of get too much of your own cliches. But with finger drumming, because it's open, you can experiment and you can find different grooves and different patterns, and that to me opened up a whole new way of thinking and lots of new stuff. It's definitely the way to go. For MIDI, I was thinking that Steinberger's starting to come back, and I'm kind of hoping they're going to do a guitar with a MIDI pickup on it that would kind of solve all my problems in the one hit. And the price on the new Steinbergers, they're kind of keeping this down and keeping this reasonable. So I'm kind of hoping at some point it'll come with a hex pickup, and away I go. Then you need the interface box, but that's quite easy to get these days. And I'm kind of thinking doing that. That's where I'm thinking of going from. Chrissy in the chat room says the SY300, which it's not a guitar synthesizer, it's kind of a resynthesis. But you plug your guitar into it, and you've got sequencers in there, and you've got all sorts of stuff. And it will sync, it will analyse a picture of your guitar, and it will sync to it, and it's quite amazing. Doesn't have a MIDI out, so you can't record MIDI from it or control something else, but it really does work. I was quite astonished by it.
No kidding. Okay, I have to check it. What was? Can you say the name of it again? What was it again?
The Boss SY300.
Okay, let me write that down.
Yeah.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah, Chrissy uses it with her electric violin.
Oh, okay.
And I kind of keep forgetting about it because I was on about I'm gonna get a guitar and put a MIDI pickup on it. No, I'm not doing that to my Les Paul Gold Top.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to look into that. Yeah, that's not.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. And come to 8 o'clock. Thank you very much for an excellent program. For some excellent clips and some real interesting stories and a real insight into finger drumming. Thank you very much for being on Synthnatter.
No problem. Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it.
Cool. This will remain on YouTube, so if anybody wants to see it, you can point them towards it.
Okay, awesome. Will do. Appreciate it, Stuart. Have a good one, my man.
Will do. Thanks very much, and see you all next time.
Next time. See?
Really cool.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it's been really, really good to see and do. Wonderful, really, really wonderful. And I wish you all the best.
You too, man.
Wish you all the best, and I'm gonna keep in contact with you and see what you do. Did some excellent stuff, and I'm looking forward to your 9 Inch Nails